organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV.
Taking action. One fraternity on campus joins the conversation on stopping sexual assault.
And more health on the shelf. How changes to a government program are giving some shoppers healthier choices.
And in sports, Fran McCaffrey's all Big Ten team players.
Daily Iowan TV is ready to go. Good evening, I'm Brianna Jett.
And I'm Matt Starnes. It's a conversation across campus we're all familiar with at this point, the problem of sexual assaults at the University of Iowa. Until now, most of the voices we've heard have come from victims and advocates, as well as UI administration. But Monday night, a fraternity on campus added their voice. Daily Iowan TV's Jordan Mickle shows us how a group often viewed as a factor in sexual assaults they're taking steps to prevent it.
Bystander intervention was a major topic of discussion at the Phi Delta Theta House Monday night as they hosted an in-house educational session. After the recent rise of reported sexual assaults, Megan Shore of the Women's Resource and Action Center talked to the fraternity about ways they can step in during a potentially harmful situation. She said by not intervening, the silence can come off as condoning the behavior and allow the incident to happen in the first place. The educational included a video involving a real-life situation for college students, group discussions, as well as members discussing their own personal stories. President Sam Wampler said this talk can only help the views of others on the Greek community.
Greeks sometimes have the stereotypes of being the perpetrators. We know on occasion this is true, and we know it's not just the Greeks, but we're hoping to take initiative, be the change you want to see in the community.
We're really excited about building this partnership with Fraternity and Sorority Life. We know that they are leaders in the community and they have a great power and they can be empowered to interrupt violent situations and help make a change here at the University of Iowa.
Megan hopes that with these educationals, students will become more aware on what to do when a potentially dangerous situation occurs. Jordan Mickle, Daily Iowan TV.
Students can continue to offer their input by applying to become a part of UI President Sally Mason's Student Advisory Board this semester.
The nutrition program for women, infants, and children, often called WIC, is now giving eligible shoppers healthier options. The change to the program comes after suggestions were made to the USDA to increase the amount of essential items offered. This now will be easier for parents to offer more produce, dairy, and whole grain options to infants and children. Healthier food can be more expensive. That's why in the coming months, families on the program will receive up to 30% more money to compensate the higher cost. This is the first major change to WIC in more than 30 years, but Hy-Vee manager Ian Holk says slight modifications are nothing new to the program.
It's an ever-changing program. I've seen the shift of major label items switch more to private label items to help keep costs down, which can also help the customer too because they can get more items if they have a cash value voucher.
Holk says WIC is always keeping up with health trends to better offer the best prices to its shoppers.
Imagine having an undergraduate degree and a law degree in 6 years flat. The UI College of Law and Buena Vista University are making it happen with a new graduation partnership. The 3+3 program allows Buena Vista students to earn their bachelor's degree and law degree together in just 6 years. The program will allow undergraduate Buena Vista students to apply to the UI Law School at the start of their junior year as opposed to their senior year. Those accepted will begin law school during what would have been their senior year. Credits earned during that first year of law school will also apply to the undergraduate degree, saving them a year of tuition and schooling.
A former Hawkeye football player filed a lawsuit Monday morning against the UI. William Lowe was one of 12 players who were injured during workouts in the 2011 off-season. Lowe says the team's coaches and trainers did not properly supervise him during the workout and failed to seek medical attention after he and other teammates expressed severe pain. The lawsuit says the team is held responsible for, quote, developing and implementing a dangerous improper training program. Lowe spent several days in the hospital and was diagnosed with acute renal failure. He is now seeking unspecified monetary damages for his pain and suffering.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, flood concerns are normal for this time of year, but this reason for worry is a little different than usual.
And in sports, wrapping up Big Ten wrestling season.
And we've finally shaken off those negative temps. We're going to toss it over to Daily Iowan TV's Kelly O'Lean for an update on this week's weather.
This week's weather will be great for travel and an even better kickoff to spring break. Tomorrow, however, will be cold and partly cloudy with a high of 26 in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon will warm up to 30 degrees but drop down to 26 tomorrow night. Looking at the rest of the week, Thursday will warm us back up with a high of 52 degrees. Friday will be a great start to the weekend with clear skies and a high of 56 degrees. The rest of the weekend will remain cloudy with a high of 48 on Saturday, dropping down to a high of 38 on Sunday. Sunday will start off spring break with a high of 41. However, most of you will be where it's at least 65 degrees and sunny. Have a safe vacation. Let's travel back to the desk.
The UI's Flood Center on Tuesday asked for $1 million for their flood prevention program. The program is to install a sensor that would tell how frozen the ground is. The National Weather Service reports Iowa is below normal for flooding risks, but underground is where the problem lies. We'll have an update on the flood sensor program later this week.
And now for a look at what's happening beyond Iowa, day 4 of mystery out of Malaysia. Malaysia Airline Flight 370 was 100 miles off course and traveling in the opposite direction from its original destination. The plane stopped sending tracker codes before its disappearance. There are now worries someone could be controlling the flight from the cockpit. A Malaysian Air Force official reported that the plane tracker lost signal before the plane went missing. Additional information was released saying one of 2 people may have been traveling on a stolen passport. International police don't believe this is an act related to terrorism.
Independence Day. The southeastern region of Ukraine, known as Crimea, declared independence from the country Tuesday. Both Russia and Crimea are ignoring any kind of international warnings that say a vote of independence violates international law. Russian militiamen guarded train stations and airports while wearing armbands that read the Autonomous Republic of Crimea. An official vote in Crimea is set for Sunday to decide if they will join Russia.
And all the unrest in Ukraine has us wondering what students know or don't know about the crisis. This week's Street Chatter will see what students have to say. We'll hand it on over to our own Aaron Faust from here. Aaron?
It's arguably the most popular worldwide topic of conversation right now, but how familiar are UI students with the crisis between Ukraine and Russia? I'll turn it over again to Daily Iowan TV's Jordan Mickle, who went out to see just what students know or want to know. Jordan?
How familiar are you with the situation in Ukraine?
Not that familiar, actually.
Not super familiar, but I've been keeping up with it.
I've been told a little bit about it. The fact that Russia, well, I should say the Ukrainian government, was asking for help previously before the overthrow or the, kind of coup d'etat they had.
What don't you understand, or what would you like to know?
A lot more. It's kind of hush-hush, I think. Also, what it means for, the world.
The one thing I would like to know is what actually happened to the, how serious what the overthrow was.
What I just don't understand is, why we can't be civil about it. It's kind of turned into a very childish competition.
Should the U.S. get involved with Ukraine?
Personally, I don't think so.
This is tough because that gets into, is the U.S. the policeman of the world? And are they meant to, get involved in other affairs? But, so I don't really know.
Not really. It's a situation that we can definitely avoid. We don't need to throw any more money away into more military stuff.
Thanks, Jordan. And what's your take on the unrest in Ukraine? Tweet us your thoughts at DITV News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Aaron. The men's basketball season is winding down, so let's throw it over to our own Jalen Sochek in the Daily Iowan Sports Studio for everything Hawkeye Hoops.
Hey guys, Jalen Sochek here in the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. We'll wrap up our Big Ten wrestling coverage in a bit, but first we'll start off with some good news for the men's basketball team. Some of Fran McCaffrey's squad received some individual honors yesterday. Devin Marble and Aaron White were named to the media and coaches all Big Ten teams. Marble received first-team all-conference status, becoming the first Hawkeye to do so since Adam Haluska back in 2007. White made the third team for the second season in a row. The Hawks take on the Wildcats Thursday night around 8 p.m. in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. From the court to the mat, Tom Brands and crew are waiting for tomorrow's announcement of the brackets for the NCAA championships in 2 weeks. Let's throw it over to our Matt Side crew who are in Madison this weekend to break down who helped and hurt themselves before the team's final outing this season.
Now that we're done here in Madison, Cody, what is there to look forward to in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, the couple of things to look forward to is eventually the NCAA seedings are going to come out. You're going to see the draws where each Iowa wrestlers land. There are a couple of wrestlers that did themselves some good this weekend. I mean, mainly Mike Evans was able to get, he was able to knock off Matt Brown, who was previously ranked in the top 4. Wouldn't be shocked if Mike Evans landed one of those top 4 seeds at 174 pounds to better position himself to maybe make a run at the semifinals. Tony Ramos even positioned himself a little bit better. I know there's 2 guys in front of him that both won their respective conference titles, but a nice seeding there to get that win over Graf. Should put Graf on the other side. And even Nick Moore did himself some good, even making a run to the finals in dominating fashion. You probably won't see David Taylor again until the finals if the seeds draw as they should. But again, we won't find out for a while. And the other thing to look forward to is 149 pounds. Brody Groth is obviously the only Iowa wrestler not to compete on day 2 of the Big Ten Championships, was bumped off. He's going to be hoping for an at-large bid at 149 pounds. There are only 29 automatic qualifiers per weight at the NCAA tournament, which leaves 4 at-large bids. They have 4 other wrestlers who, if they didn't meet the allocation requirement, that could end up participating in the NCAA tournament. So Brody's going to be waiting to hear from that. Everybody else will be on their way to Oklahoma City in a couple of weeks, and it should be a doozy down there. I'm looking forward to it.
Just touching on Groth is pretty quickly. Since he had that hot streak at the Midlands, won all those matches, and it's become the permanent spot at the Iowa 149 in the lineup. He's been ranked in the top 10, his RPI's in the top 10. So we'll see. He's got a good shot, but we'll see coming up here when those rankings come out.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 1 win on day 1, the first win since the 2009-2010 season when Brett Metcalf was a 149-pounder. He's able to get to the NCAA tournaments. That'd also be another first since Brett Metcalf. So maybe kind of hoping for that, maybe for a story-wise, because that'd be actually pretty cool.
Moving from the mat to the mound, we have baseball beat reporter Ryan Rodriguez on set to talk about his 5-part series in this week's Daily Iowan about the new coaching staff. So Ryan, Rick Heller has really rejuvenated this program. How is he the right man for the job?
Well, Rick Heller's a guy who has an excellent track record with building programs back up into contention who were, former basement dwellers. When he came at Northern Iowa, he did just that. In a few short years, he built them from a basement dweller into a contender. He did the same thing at Indiana State the last 3 years, so he really knows what he's talking about.
And it's not just the head coach. What about his assistants?
No, yeah. 2 of his assistants, Scott Brickman and Marty Sutherland, were with him at Northern Iowa, so they are familiar with Coach Heller. They're familiar with how he coaches. They're familiar with the system he plays, and they've really been integral in kind of helping everyone kind of gel and get together and evolve into the new system that they play today.
Right, thanks Ryan. Be sure to check out those stories every day the rest of the week in the Daily Iowan. The paper isn't the only place to get your baseball fix. Tune in tomorrow for a feature on infielder Jake Yasinich, but for now, it's back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jalen. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan.
Pigs in peril. How a nationwide virus has Iowa pork farmers concerned.
And a medical procedure you can only find in 24 places in the nation. Learn about how a new esophagus treatment is coming to the UI.
But before we leave you, check out this image coming out of Florida yesterday.
John Frost was spotting his skydiving landing when a plane caught his parachute in midair. Both the pilot and Frost somehow suffered only minor injuries and no broken bones. Let's hope they both bought lottery tickets later that day, because that's some major luck to be landing alive.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Catch up with us tomorrow night at the same time or online at dailyiowan.com.
Have a great night.
Want a major that'll take you somewhere?
I joined, and now I make videos for the university. SJC.
Can't pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan? Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowan.com. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket. If it happens, it's news to us.